If you're a man who is interested in dressing well, I'm sure you've come across Suit Supply before. Maybe you're thinking about buying something from there, or you're already a customer. I've been an on and off customer of Suit Supply for 2.5 to 3 years now, and I've visited their stores from LA to New York to Chicago. So I thought I would make a video addressing what I believe the benefits of shopping at Suit Supply to be, and also the drawbacks. What does Suit Supply do well compared to its competitors? What does Suit Supply really not do well? This video is completely unsponsored and uncensored. I'll be completely honest with you, I previously had an offer from Suit Supply to do a sponsored video in exchange for a free custom suit. I turned that down, and as a result, I can just tell you what I honestly think about the brand, warts and all. Let's begin by talking about what I believe to be one of the major advantages of Suit Supply, which is the price point. Now, of course, Suit Supply isn't cheap in the same way that H&M, Target, Zara are cheap. When you get to shopping at Suit Supply, you're in a different ballpark altogether. However, I understand that can be too expensive for some people, and I've seen some people complain that Suit Supply is too expensive. But when you compare the quality of their products compared to what else is available in the retail market for a similar price point or a higher price point, I find their clothing to be incredibly good value for money. Let's take a suit, for example, which is obviously their flagship product. And I'm wearing a Suit Supply suit in this video, by the way. Nothing else is Suit Supply, but the suit is. You can go to Suit Supply and shop from their perennial range and get a 100% VBC wool suit for $500. Now, if you go to a regular shopping mall with $500 in your pocket and you try and get a suit from Macy's, from Express, from Bonobos, from many of these bigger stores for the same price, you will struggle. No, you won't struggle. You will not get a suit of that quality for that money. You could go to Macy's, for example, and spend $800, $900 on a suit from a designer brand, a lower level designer brand like a Calvin Klein or a Ted Baker, and you will pay so much more than you would at Suit Supply for a suit that is made of a lower quality fabric. You can pay $700, $800 at department stores for a suit that has polyester in it. It's half wool, half polyester, or even more. Suit Supply, their suits, as far as I'm aware, they are all natural materials. No polyester in these suits. So you know that when you walk into that store, everything that you buy will be of a certain standard of quality, and the prices definitely for off-the-rack suits don't go more than about $1,200. And that's really for the finest fabrics they have, the most recent styles. But if you're looking for a run-of-the-mill, everyday suit, like a grey suit or a navy suit, you can get something for $500, and it will be pretty much as good as it gets in terms of value for money at that level. Now, let me come to another thing that I really like about Suit Supply, which is the styles that they sell. They have the classic styles, the very timeless cuts with a peak lapel in navy. The fit is slim, but it's not skinny, it's not too baggy. It exists perfectly in the middle of fashion. But what really gets me excited about shopping in Suit Supply is when I go in and they have a new collection and they have designs for suits that they're fun, they're modern, they're interesting, they're eye-catching and sharp. Something like this suit that I'm wearing right here. This was an impulse buy at Suit Supply because I threw this on. I thought it looked fantastic. I liked the peak lapels. I liked the pinstripe on here. And I just thought, I'm not going to see something like this at this price range that I love so much. So I went ahead and bought it. And if you want to get fun with your suits, wear a lot of double-breasted suits, wear suits in pastel colors, summer suits in stone, off-white. They have a huge range and they have some really interesting designs. They have some beautiful fabrics that you just won't see at a run-of-the-mill suit shop or a place like Men's Warehouse. I see that Suit Supply definitely has its eye on fashion and what's happening. Sometimes that means they sell trendy stuff or stuff that I believe is questionable in terms of style, like sandals with suits. But for the most part, it makes shopping at Suit Supply more interesting for me as a customer, and I'm always excited to see what they have when they release a new collection. However, the suits that they sell definitely don't work for all body types. Suit Supply models its suiting on the tradition of Italian tailoring, so not too much structure and cut quite close to the body. Unfortunately, that only really looks good on one male body type, and it's not a body type that the majority of men have. It looks good on men who are relatively tall, who have a slim, athletic physique, but they're not overly muscular, and you really can't afford to be carrying too much extra weight to look good in a Suit Supply suit. I've seen larger men squeeze into their suits, the shoulders have no padding, and it just looks very lumpy and it doesn't create a strong silhouette. So if you do not fit into the classic European athletic build, if you're not going to be a 40 or a 42 at the max, Suit Supply probably not the best store for you. Which is unfortunate because in the US in particular, where I am, that's not the average male body type, so it immediately disqualifies most people from shopping at that store. Now, talking of the store itself, the store experience is very enjoyable. As I said, I've been to a few of their stores coast to coast. I find that they are very well laid out, very spacious. They provide an enjoyable browsing experience. And the associates there do a great job at making you feel welcome. If you're buying something or you're browsing for more than a few minutes, it's very likely somebody will come around and offer you a drink, offer you a coffee. There are areas where you can sit and relax in the store. At the Chicago store, there's even a huge outdoor patio. So it's a really enjoyable place to browse at your own pace and spend even 1 or 2 hours there if you would like to. However, I've had mixed experiences with the associates themselves in terms of their knowledge about clothing and about what looks good. Now, Suit Supply, from my anecdotal experience and talking to the staff, they don't hire from tailoring houses. They're not hiring people who previously worked at Tom Ford or Brioni or anywhere that's more from a Savile Row type of tradition. They are hiring people who previously worked at Bonobos. They're hiring people who previously worked at Indochino or a more regular retail store. And as a consequence, you do definitely encounter rather mixed levels of knowledge and experience. And if you're making a big purchase, such as a $1,000 suit, or maybe your first suit or a wedding suit, you don't want to be advised on that suit purchase by somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing. What I do like about Suit Supply, however, is that you can book a shopping appointment with one of their associates. So if you go to a store regularly and you figure out, this guy, let's say David really knows what he's on about, I didn't really like the other people, you can book the appointment with David, have a relationship with him, talk to him about what you like, and that will make the whole shopping experience much, much better. But overall, I don't feel like Suit Supply trains its staff sufficiently about what looks good on a man, and they also seem to not understand the required levels of comfort sometimes for men. When I've explained to them that their trousers often feel very tight in the legs and the crotch, they don't always actually understand what I mean. Which brings me to probably the worst part of the Suit Supply experience, which is their custom experience, their custom offering. Now, I have completely given up on using the custom service at Suit Supply. Because, quite simply, from my experience, they just don't know what they're doing and they botch things and it takes a long time and you're never happy with the result. My first experience going custom with Suit Supply was actually very good. I simply ordered a pair of navy wool flannel trousers. This was in LA. I wanted some room in the crotch, I wanted some room in the thighs. The guy completely understood, and I was very happy with my garment first time. I thought, fantastic. So I moved to Chicago and I decided to get a new navy suit. And I thought, this is going to be my workhorse suit. Let's get a really nice quality. Let's go custom. And I think I spent about $1,200 on this suit. And then I got it back and it just didn't fit. It looked terrible. It looked way worse than an off-the-rack suit. So I explained what was wrong to the associate. They said, no problem, we'll do a remake. We remake the suit. I come back a few weeks later, try it on, still terrible. And the problem was that it was so tight on the shoulders, it was actually making my shoulders look smaller, which is the complete opposite of what you want. We ended up doing a third remake that still wasn't good. Honestly, I just gave up at that point, and I ended up buying a navy suit off the rack from Spear & Mackay instead. I also tried to get a subsequent pair of trousers made custom that just didn't turn out right. They weren't comfortable, the measurements didn't come back good, and the reason why, I believe, is because when you go for the custom experience at Suit Supply, you'd expect that they'll get a tape measure around you and take all of your measurements, but that's never happened to me. They put you in an off-the-rack garment, they take a look at you with an iPad, make some notes, and that's it. And somehow a perfect fitting suit is supposed to come back a few weeks later. Didn't surprise me that that didn't work out. I know that some people have a good experience with custom at Suit Supply, so I'm not saying that you won't, but personally it's not a way I would ever spend my money again. Fortunately, off the rack works pretty well for me, so I don't have a major need, but if I wanted to do an affordable custom suit, I would go to Enzo Custom, where they are much more thorough with their measurements. And ultimately, the tailoring experience that they offer in store, if you buy something that is ready to wear but it needs an alteration, they will do it quite quickly. I've even had things done within the hour, which is fantastic. However, I've also had them completely mess up a garment. And then I'll give you an example. I bought a suit and I wanted the trousers cuffed, and they forgot to cuff them, but they shortened them, and therefore there was no fabric left to make the cuff. So I got back in the store, I saw there was no cuff. They said, oh, well, we cut the fabric off, so we'll have to redo the suit. Cost them money, not me, but it's those kind of things that just say incompetence to me, and it definitely doesn't give me any confidence in using their tailoring services or their custom services. So what I do now is I prefer to just buy off the rack or buy online, and then I'll take whatever needs doing to my tailor who I trust. So how do I feel about Suit Supply on the whole? If you are looking for a suit that you can take home quickly, a good ready-to-wear suit made of good fabric with a cool style, it's hard to think of a better place, honestly. But when it comes to the made-to-measure or the custom service, when it comes to the experience and knowledge of the staff, I just don't think it's at a level where it presents good value for money. If you want to go down the custom route, go somewhere else. Go to a place where the people have a little bit more experience. But for ready-to-wear and off-the-rack, and also for their casual wear, which we haven't spoke about so much in this video, but I assume most of you are mostly thinking about their suits, and that's the biggest investment. I think it's a good place to go for ready to wear if you have the body type for it, that slim, athletic physique. Gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this type of video. Completely unscripted, really. I just had a post-it note of a few things I wanted to talk about here. I hope you've enjoyed this format, and most importantly, I'm very interested to know how you feel about Suit Supply. What has been your experience shopping at that store? What are the pros and cons? Are you a regular customer? Or have you decided to move on and shop somewhere else? Let me know in the comments. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video.